Okay, this is Joe Leigh here for Seconds Out with Ryan Rhodes. It's been a while since we've caught up. How are you, Ryan? Good to speak to you again, man.
Yeah, yeah, good mate. It has been a while. You've been busy, and I think I've been very busy.
Yeah,
Yeah,
no,
so
no better time to catch up. At World Heavyweight Championship on Saturday night. We'll start there. We've got a lot to catch up on, but this is
yeah,
obviously the biggest, probably the biggest fight of AJ's career. I think a lot was on the line on Saturday night. Obviously, AJ Fury was on the line, but as for the fight, what did you make of it?
it was a much better performance than the first one. AJ was definitely in the fight. It just seemed to be that Usyk were just one step ahead in every department, but taking nothing away from Anthony Joshua. He fought a much better fight, a much more sensible but aggressive fight this time round. I probably had it maybe a even or around even, or I think he may have been a round down going into the 10th round, and then after that great round in round 9 at what Anthony Joshua had, I thought, is he going to get in this next round or two? But Usyk came out like, just honestly, just came out so fresh, so composed, and took the next 3 rounds and thoroughly deserved the win.
Yeah, definitely. I think Usyk was not as strong as he looked in the first fight, but do you feel as if that was because AJ had made those adjustments with the addition of Robert Garcia?
Yeah, definitely. I think the way Anthony Joshua fought the first fight, it made Usyk look a lot more stronger, aggressive, more dominant. And I think this fight, I mean, everybody said what Anthony Joshua needed to do. He needed to use his size, his height, his strength, try and tire Usyk down, work the body, which AJ tried to work Usyk's body quite a lot in the second fight. But like I say, it just wasn't good enough to beat Usyk, and I was gutted because my heart was saying I really did hope Anthony Joshua could pull this one off, but really my head was saying he's not good enough to beat Usyk.
Why do you think it is that a lot of people in the UK just don't back AJ like they do in other countries? What do you think the root of that is? It's weird.
I don't. It's hard to see to say. I mean, is it was only an amateur what for 3-4 years. It
Mm,
wasn't an amateur long at all.
no.
It went to the world championships. I think he got a bronze or a silver. Obviously went to the Olympics, got the gold. So for someone to accomplish something so big in such a short space of time, it's crazy. I mean, I've always thought, us Brits, we never get behind our own, and I don't know why that is. I don't know why we don't support our own. It's something what I can remember for many years. We just don't seem to get behind our own, and it's sad because we should do. Other countries, whenever they get celebrities and sportsmen and superstars, they seem to support and get behind them, but we seem to be a nation what don't support our own, and it's sad, and it's not nice to see.
Yeah, definitely. With what happened after with the post-fight speech as well, I've now had a couple of days. Everything's kind of there's a full clip on YouTube that was released by Sky Sports today on their YouTube.
Seen it,
Do
yeah,
you think
seen
it's
it.
over, like people were overreacting? Do you think the speech
I
was
think they
really
have.
that bad?
I think they've overreacted with
Yeah.
certain situations. I think AJ has kicked himself reading some of his statements today. I think AJ has kicked himself, but I think now people have seen what AJ has said. I don't think it was kind of malicious in I think it was emotion. I think it was the upset of him getting beat. I think he wanted to win so bad, that I think he got overwhelmed by the situation, and things came out wrong. Things came out not intentionally to downgrade Usyk's win. I think the situations with the belts. I don't think the governing bodies have give Joshua a fair ride. It seemed to be as soon as Anthony Joshua got one of his mandatory, it was boom, hit him with another mandatory, boom, hit him with another mandatory. And what happens with the mandatories? They get so big sanctioning fees that everybody knows how AJ sells the venues out, sells arenas out, so they know they're going to get massive sanction fees. And I just don't think AJ's had an easy ride. Not that they should get an easy ride, but do you know what I mean? It's just been mandatory after mandatory after mandatory, and I think that's why AJ was so upset and so pissed off. That's why he just hung the belts out and dropped them on the floor.
Do you think it could be like because there's so many casual fans looking into the sport and they don't really know what the backstory is behind it? It kind of blows that all out of proportion as well, because it was random what he did, but it just got blew out of proportion because not a lot of people really know.
I think people don't understand the situation behind the scenes on where the money goes, what the sanction fees are, when the governing bodies order mandatories for fighters. They don't understand when fighters generally release belts. Look what Josh Taylor's doing now. He's releasing all these belts because he doesn't want to fight the mandatories. He's got one fighter on his mind, and that's Jack Catterall. So he's releasing all these belts. I think he's keeping the WBO, if I'm not mistaken, so he can fight Jack Catterall and put things what he thinks to put things right. So I think that's what people need to understand. There's so much politics in boxing that people, if you're not involved in it and you don't know the situation, you can jump to your own conclusion, and generally it's the wrong conclusion what people are jumping to.
Where does AJ go from here then, Ryan?
Listen, he can still be in massive fights. When you're such a popular person like AJ, when you're still the public draw, which he always will be throughout his career, he will still sell arenas out. He will still sell stadiums out if the fight is right. He will be still in massive fights all the way through his career. That's one thing for certain. You know, I listened to Eddie Hearn's interview, and you know, he's going to give him a month off, but hopefully get him out before the end of the year, November, December. I still think he'll be in a great fight. I still think he'll be in a meaningful fight, but it won't be as much pressure on AJ. Every fight has been pressure after pressure. So I think it'll be a great fight, but I don't think it'll be a pressure fight where he's just going to have, you know, the UK on his shoulders again, like he has been for the last 4 or 5 years.
Wilder?
I don't think straight away. I think Wilder's got a fight lined up. Is it October? Yes. I think, is it Alanius? Yes. He's got Alanius next. So I think Wilder will get this fight out of the way. AJ will get a meaningful fight, but not too serious of a fight out of the way. And then fingers crossed, because that fight's been in the pipeline for, you know, for the last 2 or 3 years. They've talked about that fight for a long time. I hope that fight happens, but probably to middle to late next year, I can probably see that fight happening.
Yeah, it'd be interesting. As for Usyk, where does he go? It seems like there's only one fight left in the heavyweight division.
It does. There's only one fight out there now, and that's Tyson Fury. Tyson Fury has come out of retirement again for the 4th time in the last 2 weeks. So he just can't help himself. Tyson will say one thing 1 minute and then another thing another, and I think, you know, that fight is just inevitable, that it needs to happen. It has to happen for the undisputed heavyweight champion of the world. That fight needs to happen. And I'm so excited that we've got a Brit that can become the undisputed heavyweight champion, and I believe he will. I believe he will win the fight as well.
Yeah, that'd be so good to see. So exciting. I want to talk to you about Sam and Mason Dalton Smith, obviously in Sheffield, not so long ago, start of the month. How did you reflect? How did you find that?
Yeah, obviously Sam massively underperformed. We all know how good Dalton Smith is. We knew he was he's on the cards to be, you know, the next superstar to come out of Sheffield. We knew this. Was it a case of Sam underperformed, or was it a case of Dalton was just too good? I personally know that Sam is a much better fighter than what we saw. Did the occasion get to Sam? Maybe. So yeah, I was gutted that we'd not seen how Sam can perform in that fight. He trained amazingly well. He did the weight perfect. We left no stone unturned. The sparring all the way through camp was great. Like I said, I just gutted that we didn't see the best of Sam O'Mason. But we lick our wounds and we go again. That's all we can do.
What's next then? How soon for Sam?
Well, he's had a couple of weeks off. I'll be sitting down with Sam in the next week or so and discussing what's next for Sam moving forward. We'll probably get him a fight out. He asked if he could fight on our September 17th show. I said, Sam, that's far too early. I said, we've got a show in November. I said, let's look at getting you back out in November time and getting you back on the winning path.
Okay, we'll expect to see him back in November.
Definitely.
Then. Couple more topics I want to talk to you about, Ryan. One of them being Conor Benn, Chris Eubanks Jr. or Chris Eubanks Jr. versus Conor Benn. One of the biggest fights in British boxing that can be made at the moment. It's surprising as well. We kind of didn't see it coming until like a few weeks before.
Yeah, I think it's a massive fight. The history behind that fight is just huge. I was one of them people that never saw the fight coming. I know it got talked about, it's been talked about, but it just seemed like one of them fantasy fights. What, you know, if these two meet, then obviously the parents in the corner, and you know the two fights that the parents had, Nigel and Chris Senior. What a fight that was! I was at the second one. An amazing fight, an amazing grudge match. They hated each other at one time, and now they're good friends. They're on a tour. I did an event with them both a few months ago in Sheffield, and they were so respectful of each other. It was such a great event that they told you about the backstory and, you know, the lead up to both the fights, how they disliked each other to how they are good friends now. And it is amazing to see. And now their sons are putting it all on the line. Their name, Ben and Eubanks, is on the line literally again for the third time. So yeah, I can't wait. I've got so many things going on in my head about this fight. I just don't know who's gonna win, how the win's gonna come. But I'm just excited, and I just know that it's gonna be an amazing fight because they both know what's on stake in this fight.
Yeah, I think the conversation of what happens in the fight is probably better to be had around fight week, because you can actually see the weights of the two fighters. But one conversation you can definitely have now is about the press conference and how you think that went. Obviously, Chris was saying he will only be 60%. Do you think this is just tactics to get in Conor's head, though?
It has to be because he was the one, or his team was the one that suggested the weight, and I believe that Conor's team accepted that. I believe there's an hydration clause. I'm not too sure what I don't think it's
hasn't been announced yet.
Yeah, I didn't think it had, so I'm not sure. But for both parties to agree the hydration clause, there must be, especially Eubanks's team, must be happy with the hydration clause. Now, I think being 60% is a bit of smoke and mirrors. I think he wouldn't have suggested the weight, or his team wouldn't have suggested, if he didn't think he would be 100% in that at that weight. Now, it is going to be hard. Don't get me wrong, it is going to be hard. I don't think he's made that weight. I think he said in his statement that he was 18 years old the last time he was it 157?
Yeah.
157. So he's been at middleweight for many years, and He's not made the middleweight limit for around 2 years, I believe. He's been up and around super middleweight for a couple of years. So it's going to be hard for him. It's going to be hard for him, but I believe he'll make the weight. I believe he'll make the weight. I don't think he'll come in a pound over and get the there's a 100 grand
Yeah,
fine if
that's
he comes
nothing
in
to
a
them,
pound.
but for what they're
I mean,
getting for
it's
the
nothing to them, but I don't believe he'll be wanting to make that 100 grand fine. I believe Conor he'll be chomping at the bit. I mean, you've only got to look at his attitude, his determination, his thoughts, and where he wants to be. He's so channeled, Conor Benn, at the minute. He's so determined, and you only have to listen to his interviews that he can't wait for this fight to happen.
Yeah, no, I completely agree with you. One more thing I just want to talk about. We have Canelo next month as well. You fought him back in 2011, over 10 years ago now. And he's fighting Golovkin for the third time. How do you see him operating against Golovkin after obviously his only second loss?
Well, I know people are writing Golovkin off about after his last fight, saying he didn't perform that well. Listen, he's going to be massively up for this fight, more than any fight ever, more than any fight, because he thinks he won the first or the second fight they had. So he's going to be well up for this fight. Canelo is coming off a loss. Now, the hatred it seems like he's got for Triple G has grown massively because of Triple G's statements over the last couple of years about Canelo. So they both are going to be massively up for this fight. I think it's going to be such a close fight again. I really do. I really believe that it's going to be such an entertaining fight. I believe they're both going to be put it on the line. And I honestly, truly believe that this is going to come down to the wire. I think this is going to be such a close fight again. I think there could even be a fourth fight. I really do. I favor Canelo in a split decision in this fight, beating Triple G. I think it'll be that close.
What is it about Golovkin that you see that other people don't? Because I kind of see what you're saying. Golovkin isn't done yet. He is the older man, but he's not done yet. What is it you see in him that makes you think he can give Canelo maybe the best Golovkin?
I just think his chin, his pressure, he's had this fight on his mind for many, many years. Since the first one, he's wanted to avenge. I think he thought he won the first one more than the second one, I believe. I think, if that's right. So I know he wants to put things right. I know he's going to go into this fight not leaving anything to chance, anything to chance. So I think he'll give everything, and I think Canelo will, and that's why I think this fight is going to be such an amazing fight, and I truly believe that it will be a close fight. But like I said, I still favor Canelo a split decision win on this fight.
How do you think he's gonna react? Obviously, coming off his second loss, and it's not Mayweather, no disrespect to Bivol, but it's obviously going to have affected him in some way mentally.
Yeah, I mean, a loss affects you anyhow. Whoever you beat, whoever you're fighting, a loss upsets you. I mean, he was on such a roll. He was dominating everybody. Bivol did just seem too big for him. But if I'm honest, I didn't feel Canelo was Canelo in that fight, and I'm not making no excuses. But he just didn't seem to have that zip. He just didn't seem to have that power what he normally has. And I don't know what the situations. I read that he changed his diet and become a vegan or something like that. I don't know whether that's the truth. I don't know whether that was stories. I'm not sure. But he just didn't seem himself. He just seemed to underperform himself, and taking nothing away from Bivol. He was quality that night. To beat a Canelo, that's what you need to stand and do. But like I said, a loss upsets anybody, no matter what level of fight, no matter who you're getting beat by, it upsets you. But I think he'll have put that loss behind him in this fight, and I think because of how big this fight is. It's a trilogy. Canelo v Triple G. They're both gonna raise their tempo, and they're both gonna raise their game tenfold.
Yeah, it's a really exciting one. One of 3 pay-per-view shows on DAZN.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's been good. It's been good to speak to you. Thank you for your
As
time.
always, Joe.
Thank you for your time. Really appreciate it. I'm sure we can catch up again soon. And yeah,
Listen, the next time we talk, I promise you, we're going to talk about the game, mate. Because I've got loads to tell you. I've got loads to tell you. But the next time we talk, we can talk about the game.
Yeah, ESBC has obviously been hyped for so long, and it's one of those games.
Yeah,
it's grown into a worldwide game. That's the next big thing across the world, not just some game that was going to be made in Sheffield, which it originally was. Which is fantastic to see. So yeah, we I won't even ask you because we're going to do an exclusive.
100%, mate. 100%. Thanks for talking again, Joe.
No problem. Thank you.